during this because our Wi-Fi is currently down. But I figured I'd come have a little celebration time with you wonderful folks. Maybe just hang out a little bit, shoot the breeze. Got a few new fragrances in today that I'm super, super excited about. Talking about a little bit. I'm going to bust out the old Paul Gaultier's real fast. How do I want to put these here? I don't know, it's a little tough because you never know which ones you want to kind of put on display. But for the most part, you know what? Yeah. And I'll put this bad boy right here next to my little silver play button. But yes, what's up, you guys? Hopefully people can stop by and hang out for a little bit. I did a stream this morning, as you probably have seen. But regardless, I'm back again, just hanging out. My little hat backwards so I can look like a little boy in the 90s. But hope you guys are doing well, having a fantastic Monday. It's been a very long day for me today, but I'm back with my fragrances. I'm just chilling, shooting the breeze. If you guys got any fragrance questions this afternoon, please feel free to ask. I have to start tucking my shirt in when I do this because these shirts are like absolutely monstrously gigantic. Let's see if I look ridiculous when I do it. Probably will, but who knows? But like I said, as you guys can see, anybody who's new here, who's never been to my channel before, I'm a fragrance YouTuber, and I'll be more than happy to talk with you guys about any questions you might have, and come on down. But yeah, let's hang, let's shoot the breeze. But I got some new fragrances in today, and I'm kind of excited about them, to be honest with you. Yeah, I look like a total gym coach with my shirt tucked in, but it's better than looking all crazy and baggy. This guy came in earlier today, and I don't know if it mildly looks, well, it probably doesn't look any familiar to you guys, but the name's definitely going to probably ring a bell. This is called Unique Portrait. It's Identity Unique Portrait. Amir Identity. But this is, why do I always forget Paris Corner? It's tough because there's French Avenue, there's French Corner, there's Paris Corner, and then there's also Fragrance World, something like that. But I just got this in earlier today. And again, this is supposed to be a take on, what is it called? Portrait of a Lady. I just literally did a review of that the other day. I don't know why I'm forgetting. This actually looks so much worse. Sorry, I had a baggy shirt on today. And with my hat on, with my shaved head, I look like a little boy, like 1991, about to go skateboarding with his friends. You have Arabs. I'm assuming you mean Arabian perfumery. I do have a handful from the United Arab Emirates, which, again, honestly, where most of these come from. So, as per usual, if you guys are new here, you can call me Douglas Moon. This is my fragrance collection thus far. And please feel free to ask questions if you have any. If you're curious, I've got a lot of stuff. So, as usual, I will say this, if you're new to my channel, if I haven't tried something personally or haven't used it, I don't want to give any thoughts about it because I feel it's misleading. A lot of channels, unfortunately, junk, no shade, but just they do. So I haven't used Mandarin Sky myself. I've seen good things about it, but then again, and unfortunately, especially in the dupe world, in the cheapies, there is always going to be like stuff praising things. So I hear Mandarin Sky is decent. I just don't know. But if you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to ask. For me personally, French, Italian, and then Middle Eastern perfumery along the lines of like Amouage is kind of sort of my general forte. But I do have a pretty decent amount of, like I said, this one's currently one of my favorites, Zerjoff by the French Avenue. A lot of people said this wasn't necessarily going to be that great, or it's kind of divisive, I guess you could say. But as soon as I got my nose on it, I don't know if you've ever had the chance to smell Oud Maracuja, but King Sword, very happy to see you back again, buddy. I know that nobody was probably expecting that I was going to be streaming again this afternoon, but me and my wife just got home. I ended up getting kind of sick, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to go do a stream while I'm not feeling so good. Also, I got some new fragrances today, and I thought I'd show them off. As well, I've posted a silver play button video, like, I don't know, like 5 times now. They don't seem to be doing that hot because I guess a lot of people aren't that interested in channels, silver play buttons. But I figured I would just kind of generally make this live stream like some kind of actual like real celebration, since I only really halfway did it before. So if you're coming through here, we're kind of celebrating even though it's 2 weeks late for that. But yeah, Zerjoff, buddy, it's really nice. That's the thing. I've tried a lot of these cheaper companies' fragrances and dupes, and some of them have really let me down. Obviously Liquid Brune is something that I attached to pretty quickly. But this one is also one that I really like. And this is the kind of YouTubers, TikTokers, and channels that I've seen who normally kind of always and cheapies. These ones in particular, I've even seen those guys talk about being to pitch, because they honestly are. Coco Morado, on the other hand, I'm not even sure what this is supposed to be, what it's supposed to be a dupe of, but this is one of the best, cheaper fragrances, actually Middle Eastern perfumery that I've smelled in a long time when it comes from one of those fragrance houses, because I don't know what this is supposed to be, which again, I could have just looked it up, but my other phone's charging right now. I can honestly say this to me smells like this could have passed as a Tom Ford, which again, as you probably know behind here, if you've seen me before, you know what this reminds me of. So I was just talking about this morning. Real quick, I will answer my buddy. So you did ask about the Jean Paul. I will tell you that. I think your message is retracted, but I will get back to you in a second. So I did see it, just letting you know. But I think that this is exactly what this reminds me of. Holy cow. So again, I'm not sure what Coco Morado was supposed to be, but this is actually almost excessively close to Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. But the thing about it was, somebody asked me in my stream this morning how I feel about Tom Ford's Noir Extreme, and I was being honest. It's not really something that I love, because there's almost like a level of density to Noir Extreme that makes me feel just a little too cloying, a little too choking almost to some extent. This one has a bit of a freshness to it somehow. The deep, rich cocoa feel is a little lighter when it comes to this. So I usually, like I said, don't necessarily always go for the cheap ones. Not that cheap equals bad, but I don't always go for them, necessarily speaking. But I'm kind of shocked right now, because I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be some totally different company's dupe. But literally comparing this side by side to Tom Ford's Noir Extreme right now, I'm kind of blown away, because it is almost exactly like it in the note profiles. Except this one's a little bit sweeter and dense, whereas this one has a little bit of lift to it and lightness. So pretty happy to find that out. Because like I said, I really wanted to like, what in the world did I do with the cap? I really wanted to like Tom Ford's Noir Extreme, and it is made extremely well. Coco Morado, if you get this, because it was very well done. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of cloning Oud Cadenza. Okay, thank you, Gabriel, for letting me know. Because again, I wasn't entirely sure what fragrance house is Oud Cadenza by. Is that Maison? Is that Crivelli as well? But like I said, this one's definitely supposed to be Oud Maracuja, and I really love this. Is the best Crivelli fragrance. Is it now? I will say this, the new Saffron Secret. So I did a little video. I got a little too excited the other day when I smelled Saffron Secret for the first time. As soon as I walked out of the event, I smelled it and I was like, I need to talk about this right now. On the other side, I found out it wasn't a good idea to post a video of me just sitting in the car. But I tried Maison Crivelli's new Saffron Secret, and it is one of the greatest things that I've ever smelled in my entire life, because it presents a nice spice fragrance, but like a classic men's fragrance that I think could even take over what, Jean Paul Gaultier is one of my favorite fragrance lines, if you followed my channel at all. And for the most part, thank you for letting me know, Gabriel. For the most part, spicy, but yet classic barbershop style fragrances are something that doesn't speak to me a lot, except for, again, that traditional Jean Paul Gaultier's La Malle. But when I smelled Saffron Secret, it was like perfectly balanced, perfectly done, and it was powerful. That's one thing for sure. I don't own any Maison Crivelli fragrances just yet, but that's going to be my very first one when I do get one. And as well, Jardin de Misfa, something like that, by Une Nuit Nomade. That is as well one of the best fragrances that I've smelled in a very long time. So I don't know if you guys are anywhere near a niche fragrance perfumery or perfume retailer, but if you get a chance to find something along those lines, please check them out. As well as, I was very excited to try the entire Mind Games line yesterday. Very nice. But again, those fragrances are like excessively expensive, something I'm not particularly thrilled about throwing my money on. Let me see. I tried Saffron Secret, but wasn't a fan. Hey, you know what? That's why I'm very specifically like to always tell you guys, if I don't like something, do I not like it because I can tell that it wasn't necessarily made with a lot of high skill or good materials? Or do I just not like something because it's just not my style? And like I said, Tom Ford's Noir Extreme, which I have back there, definitely something that I can say was made very well, especially the batch era. I got that. I think that was like a 2023, something along those lines. But it just isn't my style. Neither is the parfum. But Saffron Secret really spoke to me. The original Oud Maracuja, if I'm saying that properly, really spoke to me. But I do like, Azur Oud has a type of lift to it, a type of brightness. And I can't speak for French Avenue if all of their, if they have consistent production quality. I don't entirely know, so I can't vouch bought 2 bottles of liquid brew stuff, and they've been matched even as far as performance and reliability. So in and of itself, I think for most people, because I've seen some people say that when they've got their Zerjoff, I don't know where they ordered them from. I got these straight from the source, but I've seen a couple of people that they got theirs in, and they were a little bit rank. But then again, it just might not be for them. Oud Stallion is nice. I'll have to check that out. I haven't tried Oud Stallion, but with all that being said, like I said, I'm not a fan of every French Avenue fragrance. Before I get into the fragrances I got today and the ones that I have on the way, I'm not a fan of every French Avenue fragrance, including these guys right here. This one I definitely like way more when it comes down to it, but these guys are mega hyped up right now on Fragrance TikTok, which is a place that I only go just to see what's being pushed on you guys, but I don't really like using it all that much. I like this one though. The Vulcan Sable is... This is for sure the stronger performer between the two, and I like the note profile. I know what it's supposed to be a dupe of. These both are supposed to be dupes of the same fragrance house. This one, as you all probably are very familiar with, is a God of Fire dupe, and this one, on the other hand, it just doesn't perform the way that I would like it to, and I keep trying to tell people that because I've seen a lot of people who are desperately trying to get their hands on it. I wouldn't keep beating that horse if it wasn't trying to help you guys out as well. The sensual obsessions that I have, I see my buddy Jason here is asking, I've got Eagle Star. So this is fantastic. I really cannot stop clarifying, stop putting these guys out there because it really excited me. I actually wore this on my arm today, and I got to say that the performance behind this is also fantastic. If you guys don't know who these guys are, these are some dudes out of Florida. This is Sensual Obsessions. This is the name of their brand, but this is supposed to be an Altair take or like a Liquid Brune Hot Lodge Island. Hot Lodge Vanilla Dunes take. And this actually does truly beat them out in performance, but as well, to me, it outdoes, it's very similar to Vanilla Dunes in the sense that it has a mild flourish of floral lift behind it and a musk lift behind the vanilla pod, so it feels a little more realistic, whereas Vanilla Dunes, if you've ever got, that's all right, Liquid Brune, they're so tricky, they rhyme. Liquid Brune, Vanilla Dunes. Liquid Brune has a little bit more of like a younger man's density of sweetness to it. Imagine if it was like you were making coffee and you were going to go between having a little bit more mature, a little less sugar, a little less sweetener, maybe just a cappuccino. Whereas over here, you were going to get yourself like a frappe and you wanted to add a lot more sweetness and sugar to it. That's kind of the difference when you want to pick between the two. But when these guys gave me their sample, this is honestly the first time ever somebody's even sent me an actual sample, but they gave me a real bottle of Sensual Obsessions. I'm really grateful for it. But in all honesty, it is a monster performer. So if you want to take the chance, look them up on the internet, go on their Instagram. I said, I'm getting really old. As you can hear, the way I say things, look them up on the internet, on Instagram, look up Sensual Obsessions and check out Eagle Star. I also heard, they told me when I was talking to them yesterday that they've got a bunch of not just dupes, but as well originals. And I'm super looking forward to getting a chance to check those out. Kevin is good people. He makes good stuff. He really does. I have probably 40 of his fragrances. Heck yeah. Well, I definitely look forward to getting more myself because they did an excellent job. Also, I don't want to like burn through this because again, I really want to cherish this bottle because it's the first time, like I said, somebody's really sent me anything, and it's also excellently done. So I kind of want to hold on to it for a while. I'm a little bit weird like that with fragrances. As you can see, I like to take care of them, hold on to them for a little bit. But I do want to show you guys one more time. I'll probably show you a bunch more. But the atomizer on this is crazy too. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a pretty dense blast. And yeah, like I said, I'm kind of funny about shooting my fragrances off like that. But yeah, in general, today I was very excited because again, if any of you guys know what Portrait of a Lady is by Frederick Malle, I really enjoyed that fragrance as somebody who loves rose fragrances. They're some of my favorite profiles in all of perfumery. I love rose. On the other hand, it's not all the time that I find a rose profile that I like because I don't care if it's masculine or not. I really don't. Mancera's Roses Greedy is one of my favorite fragrances in the entire world when it comes to rose scents. But rose incense, Ardent by Bodicea Victorious is more what I kind of go for. But I heard about this Portrait of a Lady, which already isn't one of my favorites necessarily speaking. I had heard about Identity Unique Portrait, and so I got myself a bottle. And I have to be honest, I put that on this hand earlier today, probably about 7.5 hours ago. And for a cheaper perfumery, again, not all dupes perform very well. They really don't. Sometimes they're also missing something. I actually like this more than the original Portrait of a Lady. Again, it's not very often I say that, but in this case, I really do, because something about it, it's definitely rose, clove, and black currant going along with cinnamon and a few other things, but I love the way this was constructed in comparison to Portrait of a Lady, because Portrait of a Lady was a little too, it's raspberry as well. Portrait of a Lady was a little too fruity for me, whereas I like my rose just more tube rose style, more dense. But this one turned out fantastic. So this was, I think, $20, $30, something like that. So if you're looking for an actual decent Portrait of a Lady dupe, if you are interested in trying out that profile, this really does, for me, almost hold a bit more of a masculine feel. There is, even though it's supposed to be patchouli, it carries a almost oud-like undertone, which regular Portrait of a Lady doesn't have. So that's kind of something that excited me as well, because again, if you know my channel at all, you'll know that anything with rose and oud blended together brings me a lot of joy. So like I said, this was a take on Portrait of a Lady done extremely well. So when this came in, I was very excited to get it. If you like plum, check out his OG Andy Warhol. Just came back out. I'll definitely have to check that out. I'm not the biggest plum person in the entire world when it comes to scent profiles. I'm much more, caught you twice in one day. You absolutely did. Went with Labyrinth of Spices today. Fantastic. Anybody who comes through here, please feel free to tell me what your fragrance of the day is. I personally was originally going to go with the Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau Le Parfum, but as you can see, check out this bad boy. I'm not going to touch it, but for whatever reason, they made it like adjustable. But I finally got my hands on Paradise Garden, and I'm super excited about this, because I will say that to my nose, this one for sure compared to, so Paradise Garden most definitely, and wait, let me see this real quick. Latafa Sublime is really good. Rose Smoky Scent. Thank you for letting me know that. I'll definitely have to check that out. What's up, people? Michael Dowry, thank you for being here. What's up, buddy? Again, just hanging out, shooting the breeze with everybody, seeing if anybody on this evening. I know a lot of people are getting off work right now, so they don't necessarily have to stream. So I'm also trying to figure out, when I've got free time, what's decent times to do this. But scent of the day was Creed Arofa. I actually don't have that, Jason. So I've never smelled Creed Arofa. I've seen it when I went to Saks Fifth Avenue. I was about to say Saks Free Avenue. That would have been nice if I could just grab whatever I wanted. But the issue when I went in there is they were not a huge fan of letting people really smell all that much. They have expensive stuff, though. As you can see, like I have Initios and things along those lines. Saks, I discovered, has a lot of Bicillium, but they've got ones that you can't smell at a lot of other places, like Phantom. And as well, they have like the entire Initio line, which I discovered, by the way, is not necessarily my favorite. I love Side Effect. My wife, that's one of her top 10 fragrances of all time for me, is Initio Side Effect. I do love Paragon. Oud for Greatness is okay. But at the end of the day, I'm definitely going to say that as far as the rest of the line goes, Blessed Baraka is pretty good. Atomic Rose was nice, but by and large, I didn't love the fragrance house as a whole. Not in the way that like certain fragrances like Zerjoff really does it for me. Arofa, one of my favorite creeds. That's awesome. Does it perform well? That's a question I'd really like to know, because you know how everybody talks about creeds all the time. So just out of pure curiosity, but thank you guys to anybody who's rolling through here. Like I said, it's just a Monday afternoon. I'm just hanging out. If you happen to have any fragrance questions, if there's anything you would like to know, please, by all means, feel free to ask. But I definitely want to show you guys, like I said, I already had for the past, ever since this actually first came out, I got my hands on Le Beau Le Parfum. Was very excited about it when I even got to smell it for the first time. But I forgot that at that time, before it was actually officially on sale in the United States, they were having testers where I was at for Paradise Garden. And I know a lot of people have talked about Paradise Garden. People have asked about it. So I finally got my hands on it today, and I was very excited to do so, because let me see if I can. So thankfully what I had right here is not going to bother me as far as scent exposure goes. I'm going to put this right here because this is the original Le Beau. Sometimes these little guys get a little tricky. Which ones go where? That's the original Le Beau Le Parfum. So over here, I want to put on the new Paradise Garden and do a little bit of a comparison, so that way you guys can just see. This one's definitely way more dense, way more powerful when it comes to that rich, out-blasting coconut vibe. I can't remember what all goes other than like the coconut pineapple feel and the woodsy type of feel, whereas this one's way more appealing, I would think, for more people at whole, because Hello, Andrew Breen. Thank you for being here, buddy. Scent of the Day Lionheart. Fantastic choice. Nothing crazy. It's an older bottle. Okay, I understand. What's my favorite Tom Ford and why? I'll answer you in just a second, Andrew, but thank you for asking. And again, anybody who comes through here who's got any questions, have no problem. Feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer anything you would like to know about the fragrances I have. If I don't know something, if I haven't tested something, I'll let you know. But before I answer you about the Tom Ford situation, as I'm comparing, I can definitely see, sorry for getting all in the microphone. I can definitely see, I believe, that Paradise Garden is probably a little bit more mass appealing overall, because this one is a little bit more on the sandalwood side. So it's like, I believe it said coconut water, sandalwood, and I'm not sure, it's more aquatic notes is what they had on the website. So that could honestly be a lot of different things building up the aquatic accord. But this one is way more true summertime. I think even the colors encompass the idea of what they're going for here. So Le Beau Le Parfum is 100% something you could wear fall, summer, probably more dead of summer, but especially ironically, even though it's coconut, even though it's tropical themed, Le Beau Le Parfum is something you could as well 100% carry with you into the winter, into the fall. Again, I know that might sound odd for a lot of people, but it has this richness to it that could totally work. Whereas this one is a pure, true to the core summertime fragrance. So I love this. I'm very happy to have it. I'm probably going to wear it quite a bit this summer. Although on the other hand, I heard that in a lot of places, stocks are getting low. So if you want to get it, please hurry up and do it quickly because they are going to be running out. As far as my favorite Tom Ford fragrances, that is definitely something I'd love to answer for you guys. My number one Tom Ford favorite fragrance of all is this guy right here, Ombre Leather Parfum. Reason is, so the original Ombre Leather Eau de Parfum is fantastic. This one speaks to me though because the way the sandalwood blends with the leather accord is so perfect. It smells like, a lot of people think that the original Eau de Parfum is like straight up getting into a brand new luxury car. This one for me, instead of that, it is like just a beautiful leather jacket by the ocean. I know that might sound odd. I know that might not necessarily make a lot of sense, but this is in fact my favorite Tom Ford of all time because even though when you smell it, it's like a powerful fragrance that also has a softness to it. Like I said, the way that they did the leather blended with the sandalwood was just perfect. So I love it. But at the same time, I do also have a affection for Tobacco Vanille, which is funny because most of my friends actually are not too big into this one. I hear a lot of people say that it's a little too strong and it's a little too, well, to be real with you, what you smell, this one's very much, even though it's supposed to be their niche line, Tobacco Vanille definitely is not one of those kind of fragrances. It smells fantastic, but it is 100% not one of those kinds of fragrances that has a lot of layers to it. So it's supposed to be just straight up tobacco with strong vanilla going on for the most part. And that is literally what it is. Evan Fume, I would have to say, is my favorite. So that's actually, as far as the rest of what I was about to show, that is one of the other ones that is one of my favorites of all. That's why I picked out right here. And I think that I had a hard time originally deciding, do I want to get this or do I want to get the, I got Black Lacquer, and that is incredible. But when I was getting Evan Fume, by the way, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry. I was between this or potentially getting Mur Mystère or Mur Mystery, however you say it. Again, I don't know how to exactly pronounce all of them, but this one, this smells like an excessively classic, like 80s type of fragrance. Like if you were a wealthy man, like a business owner, if you ever seen Weekend at Bernie's, I feel like this is something that Bernie, the guy like who died, I feel like this is something he would wear. But it smells amazing and it's extremely strong. I made it on time. Moon Man, thank you for being here. Tobacco Vanille, I didn't like it. I don't like it even though I like sweet fragrances. Yeah, Tobacco Vanille is definitely a tough one for a lot of people at Douglas. Is that it certainly is, Diego. Thank you for asking. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you guys. By the way, I know Andrew, I appreciate you coming through as well and asking. It definitely is a very strong fragrance. Scent of the Day Santal 33. Fantastic choice. Very happy. I want you guys to I want to encourage anybody who's coming through here to feel free to ask questions. Please, again, anything I can answer for you, I'll do my best. But also, if you guys are wearing a fragrance today, please, like you say the rest of my buddies here doing, let me know what you got going on. But this one, I'm glad to see so many people are enjoying this. I also hate, Diego, that you didn't get as good a performance out of this because in reality, a lot of Tom Fords don't have that good a performance for me as a whole. It's funny because you can't really tell which ones will and which ones won't. Some of them smell excessively dense, but then they don't last very long, which again, they're not necessarily all were made to last very long. I want you guys to remember just a little bit of fragrance education. Even if something is expensive, that doesn't mean it was designed to perform for a very long period of time. Even if it smells dense, because perfumers sometimes make very high quality fragrances for rich people to go on dates. That's just the way the compounds are made to break apart. Because they are chemists, basically, and sometimes they do that. With that being said, I do absolutely love this one. And my personal bottle actually does last all day on my skin. No disrespect. I do not like Santal 33. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I've never, like I said, it's not really something I like to encourage you guys and what you guys enjoy, but it's not necessarily for me either. Plus, you would think would last on all the resins in it. Yeah, like I said, this one personally does last a very long time for me. You should get a Zerjoff Forever Wanted Elixir. I might just, in fact, do that. Since you have suggested it, it's very possible. I will show you a Tom Ford fragrance, though, that has disappointed me. Let me make sure I'm putting myself... I'm a weirdo about liking things to be back where they belong. But a Tom Ford fragrance that actually kind of really lets me down as far as performance goes is this bad boy right here. Oud Wood was one of the first... I hear this a lot, by the way. It's just so funny. This is a very classic fragrance that a lot of people who are getting into niche perfumery start to gravitate towards. I don't know what it is about this, but it's like, maybe it's like a power of suggestion that a lot of times when you start suggesting, hey, I would like to, if you talk to friends who are into fragrances or look at what's a good one to start with. I know like Fragmental or a lot of channels, for instance, suggest people give Oud Wood a shot. And it's funny because it is very appealing for a fragrance that has an oud accord built into it. I don't know if it has real oud or not, but it's something that really does appeal to people as a whole, because even when my wife smelled this was the first Tom Ford that my wife actually liked and grew to enjoy. But 100%, this is a new formulation of Oud Wood, and the performance is just seriously not there. It is unfortunately disappointing. At least it was for me. Have a good day. Hey, Andrew, I hope you have a great time at work. I literally just got home. Me and my wife, it's 6 p.m. in the evening here. Love Oud Wood. Been hearing about the performance thing. For me, it's pretty good amount of time. A lot of people debate. I guess another issue really does boil down as well. Support for that. Yeah, I'm super happy to have all you guys here, by the way. Jason, Diego, Andrew, JJ, and anybody who's new coming through, please feel free to ask questions. I'm here to answer anything. I am nobody special. As you see, I also am kind of still trying to celebrate my silver play button doohickey because, again, as I recently got this bad boy, but then posted a couple videos about it, just not taking off. So I figured I would just make it more of a live stream type of deal right now and just be excited about it since it's been 2 weeks. But thank you again for the congratulations. I appreciate that. Diamond carved oud is like Oud Wood on steroids. Well, thank you for saying that, because I'm definitely going to have to check that out then. Really going to have to check that out because I like the profile of this a whole lot. Let me see. Do I have any space left? I would never recommend you guys do what I do. If you see me spray a lot of things on me at one time, I would never recommend you actually do it as well, because again, it's going to mess with your profiles if you're not used to doing that kind of thing. I'm used to sampling a lot. Oh, there is a brilliance to the construction of this makeup. Oud Wood is such a classic, true to the core. Like I said, if you want to introduce a friend to something a little different, something challenging, perhaps. To be honest with you, though, now that I'm really thinking about it, holy cow, because of the construction of the oud profile, this actually Silver Oud by Amouage in comparison, this is actually if somebody was to take, like, let's imagine that you've got a volume like on a radio speaker that goes from 0 to like 20. Oud Wood would be that frequency of probably around like 3 or 4, whereas I just realized the profiles are excessively close because of the way they've made up this. Silver Oud by Amouage is definitely like 1-to-1 Oud Wood on 20. If you cranked it all the way up and just wanted to blast somebody in the face with a very regal, expensive oud fragrance instead of something that's not going to last very long. Because here's the deal. If you get Silver Oud by Amouage, you've got to be prepared for this to never go away. Because I'm not even joking you. If you spray this on you somewhere, like what you just saw me do multiple different fragrances on myself just to give them a sampling, you cannot do this with. This is why you almost never see me actually go out of my way to spray myself with Silver Oud while I'm streaming, because I did that one time and I couldn't smell anything else for the entire rest of the stream. Would you ever buy real oud and smoke yourself out? Personally, no, probably not. I don't think I would do that because, again, it's not a scent profile that I'm absolutely in love with. I know that there's a lot of people out there who love oud, but for me, of course, I like it when it's more smoked, but as a whole, it's definitely not my favorite overall. You too, JJ. We stayed in Fragrance Streets. Again, like I said, I'm super happy to have you guys here. I didn't expect a whole lot of people to come through here on a Monday evening. Well, I don't know what time it is where you guys are, but it's Monday pretty much everywhere. And I figured people are probably busy around this time. Probably most people who end up watching me in general are out somewhere right now. But my favorite JPG is definitely going to be this bad boy right here. My favorite Jean Paul Gaultier is 100% Le Mal Le Parfum. This is my favorite fragrance in the entire world. This, to me, encompasses everything that my personal taste wants out of a fragrance. The iris, which reminds me of Amouage's Reflection. But again, even though this is technically a men's fragrance, my wife wears Amouage Reflection all the time. And so when I think about that, I think about her. This is more eased back on the iris, but it's still excessively present. And instead, you have iris with the lavender and the sweetness riding underneath it. This is definitely my favorite fragrance in the entire world. And I actually have like another bigger bottle of this. So I love it so much and I can't get enough of it. And it could be worn any time of the year, but especially when those cool evenings start to come, it's perfect. Is the performance weak on it? Not for me, it isn't. Now, again, I have a brand new bottle and also one that I got from a discounter. I can say from using them both, here's what you have to expect if you're going to use Le Mal Le Parfum. So when you use Le Mal Elixir, this is something that was specifically designed to be explosive because of the concentrations of the honey and the tonka bean profile with tobacco. This one, especially, well, with the benzoin and the tonka bean, this one, you're going to get a master explosion. Whereas, and again, they both last all day. Personally, having tried out Le Mal Le Parfum, this one is much more designed to be soft to the skin. It stays. It lasted on my skin when I went to work. I don't work in a job where I get sweaty. Just letting you know, like I do a little bit. It is a physical job, but like it's air conditioned in there. This one for me personally, in a climate controlled environment, even doing physical labor, lasted as a out here and then mostly to a skin scent, roughly about 8 to 9 hours. Again, very, very still like you can whiff it, but it's very, very close to the skin around that 10-hour mark when I was about to clock out. So that's pretty decent performance for what it's worth. And then again, for like the rest of the evening, it's just like the faintest noticeable still, but faintest skin scent ever. Whereas this one is much more explosive, but it's just because of the profile. Le Mal Le Parfum is great. I love the iris in it. Me too. It's perfect. All of the Jean Paul Gaultier fragrances, up to and literally including if you get the original Le Mal Eau de Toilette, even the new reformulation. It has been reformulated. I don't know exactly what exactly's changed in comparison to the older formulations, but I literally earlier yesterday tried out the brand new formulation of Le Mal Eau de Toilette. By the way, I've said Le Mal for so long, and recently finding out that my favorite fragrance is pronounced Le Mal is extremely difficult for me not to just go back. But I will say it lasts extremely well. I smelled it, but it always kind of smells different. Sometimes it's sweet, sometimes it's fully powdery. That's another thing, is I will say, when you smell fragrances, it's also extremely subjective to the person's nose and like, you know, allergens, if something's stuck in your nose hairs, all sorts of things kind of contribute to your personal experiences of every fragrance that you even smell in the first place. This though, I wish that this was a little bit more dense. This is Mancera's Roses Greedy. I wish that they had made this. This lasts an extremely long time. Most Manceras have excellent performance. This one, though, this is one of my favorite rose fragrances of all times because even though it says there's a lot of fruit compounds, you don't get any of that, at least me personally. There's also supposed to be a mild coconut compound. You don't really get that at all. What you actually get out of Roses Greedy by Mancera is like this extremely nuclear, just tuberose to the max, truly walking through a garden, like just a beautiful garden at evening time or something like that during the spring. That's what you get out of this, but I love it so much. And I wish that they made this with a little bit more density, something like, again, Boldty the Victorious is ardent, but our skin chemistry plays a big part. It absolutely does. But yeah, as I keep saying, if anybody has any questions, if there's anything you guys would like to talk about, please, please, please feel free to do so. I've got not a whole lot going on today. Just like I said, just kind of doing a little bit of extra one more time celebration on my silver play button. And as well, just kind of wanted to spend some time with you guys after I didn't get all the fragrances that I've got coming in because, again, I have a new bottle, which I haven't had one in a long time. Got a new bottle of Eros Flame. which I'm very excited about. But then as well, I got Toy Boy coming in. I think it's Machino. I'm not sure if that's how you're supposed to say it, but something along those lines. But this one definitely excited me a lot today, the Unique Portrait. It's a fantastic fragrance, and I'm really loving it. Do you have any Mancera? If so, what's your favorite? Yeah, that's exactly what I was just showing is Mancera Roses Greedy. But Mancera Roses Greedy is my favorite of the bunch. But these guys, I'm going to show you a few more Manceras that I have, because they are actually really nice. I was nervous when I got my first ever Mancera because my first one was Instant Crush. And I don't know if you've seen, but a lot of people are kind of all over the place with that one. But this one right here, this is Oud Lemon Mint. I saw Aaron Terrence Hughes review this, and Oud Lemon Mint, this is a fantastic fragrance. It is perfect for the summertime. I need to start remembering this, because when people come in my streams and they ask me, wait, what do you think is a good summer fragrance? For the price point that you get, especially if you was to get this off of a discounter, I think I paid like $75 for this, but Oud Lemon Mint is actually a complete monster. Le Beau Paradise Garden or Le Parfum? Manda, that is a tough question, because again, I'm just now really getting exposure because I just got Paradise Garden in comparison to Le Parfum, but I will say it really depends on the type of vibe that you're going for. This one could be worn even during the fall and winter time, even though, again, that's kind of strange because of the coconut feel, but it's much more dense, much more loud and sweet, whereas this one still lasts all day, but this is a lot more because of the sandalwood makeup to it and the more focus on the coconut water feel instead of like rich pina colada. This one is definitely more summertime, more aquatic. If I absolutely had to choose, though, that's a tough one, but I think you're going to get more potential wear out of Le Beau Le Parfum. So I'm going to go with Le Parfum. This one, again, my wife technically kind of likes a little bit more. She loves them both, but she kind of likes this one a little bit more. But I think I'm going to have to go with Le Parfum because it has a little bit more of an all-year type of performance. Check out Montel Oud Pashmina. I will definitely do that. You try any Kimi or Oud Stars from Zerjoff? So I will say this. I have not had Oud Stars, but I have way too many Zerjoffs that I still have to go through at this point. And the only ones that are next on my list to get is I want to get Alexandria 2 Anniversary Edition, but I need you to know they're very expensive. But my favorite, hold on, wait, I think my necklace is click-clacking here. I don't want to drive you guys crazy with the sound. But my personal favorite Zerjoff is Naxos and 40 Knots in it as well. Honestly, very lately, Torino 23 is speaking to me hard. This is one of the most wonderful fragrances that I've ever smelled. You hear me say that all the time, but seriously, this is like Torino 23. Torino 23 is one of the greatest things I've ever smelled in my life. Plus, because I love 90s type junk, I really get a kick out of the way that they did this bottle. And if any of you guys don't know, I think the Torino series is supposed to be based kind of, what is it, like tennis? I don't really know a lot about it. I don't even know why they do it, but never tried Torino. Well, you definitely have to. As soon as you get the chance, I don't know if you live near any stores that feature these, but please, if you get the opportunity, Torino 21, 22, and 23 are fantastic. The new Torino 24 is also a very wonderful fragrance, but Alexandria Anniversary Edition, there's $600. So it really, by the way, I agree, the 90s was the best decade. Well, excuse me, I was born in 1993, but I have a very strong, passionate love for 80s content, like movies and music and so forth. But I really, really love being from the 90s. I have a niche shop in mall I can sample. Well, definitely please go do so because you will not be disappointed. But Alexandria 2 does have an anniversary edition, and it is extremely, extremely expensive. Even this one on discounter sites. Like, I use a discounter site that is the most trustworthy that I can recommend, but at the same time, also tries to have the best prices. They're near about like the Walmart of discount sites. But even then, Alexandria 2 for 100 ml is, I think on there, $315, $320, something like that. When I looked at their price that they had for the anniversary edition, I think it was like $350, close to $400, and that's on a discounter. So I've heard that it's amazing. When I was at the event the other day, I heard it was a fantastic fragrance. I just haven't had the chance to smell it, to be honest with you. Yeah, mine is Alexandria. Now, I will say, though, if you ever get your chance to put your nose on this and you haven't yet, for the love of God, do not blind buy this fragrance. I've had 5 people during the past couple of weeks of streaming ask me if they should just go ahead and buy Alexandria 2. Please, do not do that. It will not be a good idea for you to just blind buy this fragrance because it's very tough for a lot of folks to get into because it's very much so more like old musty rose blended with oud, as well as a strange apple cinnamon type of thing going on, but you can't really tell as much because of the rose oud blend they have going on. It's not for everybody, but I love it. I do absolutely love it. I was in high school in the late 90s, showing my age. Hey man, I kind of wish I could have known what that was like. I love when I got to grow up, like the early 2000s and stuff, and then like the mid 2000s being in high school. I think I graduated 2011, but I'm sure it would have been fantastic because I miss the way things felt. Even the holiday times felt more special back in the 90s, as far as I can remember. I like my stinky Hindi oud. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I would like to get the chance to smell it. I will say Hayat, which I have, Hayat, Hayat, Hayat by Zerjoff, is, I think it's part of their alchemy line. That one, if you really want like a genuine to the core, strong, cheesy oud type of fragrance, I hate using that word, but that is what people use, cheesy oud. If you want to try something like that, highly recommend Hayat by Zerjoff. Is very powerful. Thank you, Scentscope, for being here. You ever try Amouage Figment, ma'am? Figment? I don't think I've heard of that one. I have not tried that. On the other hand, I do want to talk about Amouage for a second because they don't get enough love on my channel, even though I absolutely love Amouage. This one, though, this is one of those ones I keep talking about. If you want something that has a agarwood oud sort of blend with a little bit more of a floral feel, a little more lightness. If you haven't smelled Jubilation, please give this a chance because that's in Kimmy. I've heard good things. I have to check that out. I'm definitely have to check. I appreciate you suggesting because, again, as you guys can see, I might have a lot of fragrances, but there's so much more out there that I've never even heard of, never even smelled. So it means a lot to me if you guys give me your recommendations. And I need to find a way to have like a list that you guys could like go add to on my page. I'm not sure if that's possible. Maybe I'll do a little post and if you guys could go check that out and just put things on there. What do you think about Grease Chanel? I've actually not smelled that, but if I get the chance to, I'll definitely let you know. I got Material, very good to me. Figments, a lesser, talked about one, still got to try it myself. Heck yeah, I'll check that out. Let me see what you guys got. What about Material? I haven't tried that myself. I love Jubilation. Yeah, so Jubilation, this one I was not too sure about when I first got it because when I read the note profiles, I don't know what I was expecting, but I actually really love this. So if you guys didn't see my stream this morning, I got to smell Purpose for the first time yesterday by Amouage. That one was absolutely fantastic, and I went crazy for it. It goes for, because the woman sprayed it on a little thing for me on my jacket I was wearing. I still smelled it this morning, and oh my goodness, it doesn't disappear. What's your go-to summer fragrance? Go-to summer fragrance? To be honest with you, it just depends on the day because some days I'm definitely feeling the Eros Parfum. I think the Eros Parfum is an absolutely fantastic summer fragrance. Armani Code Parfum as well has a beautiful summer feel to it. Because of the iris, Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male Parfum is a fantastic summer fragrance kind of to go for, even though it seems to be like a more mysterious evening. I think it's a good summer fragrance, perfect personally. And then the Jean-Paul lines right here when it comes to Le Beau Le Parfum. And now I really am excited to have Paradise Garden because for sure I will say, somebody asked me earlier, do I think it's redundant to have both? No, absolutely not. I think that if you like this one, you should own both of them because they fit perfectly into two different categories of the same idea. So I think probably Le Beau Le Parfum might be one of the greatest summer fragrances of all time. Just my personal opinion. Like the stream chat. Thank you. I hope you are happy being here. Purpose has a newer one. I don't know. I'm going to check that out. Lucky Scent has a weird niche fragrance to sample. Have you checked? I've not checked out Lucky Scent. I haven't been on there. That's a website, right? I haven't been on there yet, but I'm going to do that. But one of the next purchases I intend to make, it's going to be a little while because I don't know if you can see, and I don't want to bore you guys talking about the same chunks of fragrances all the time. But I will say, I've already like got so many that I don't know if I can really move the phone. I don't want to screw up the way I've got it here, but I've got like whole shelf down there as well that you guys haven't even seen before. So for me personally, I've got too many that I need to review that it's going to be a while before I even buy any more fragrances. Because at this point, like the majority of what you see here, I still haven't even done genuine reviews for on my channel just yet. So it's going to be a little bit. You'll never bore us. Well, thank you, Moon Man. I really appreciate that. Sometimes I worry about that. You know, I have so much fun doing these live streams and talking with you guys. Like, it means a lot to me when you come around, you ask questions, and we just have a good time. Like, you guys are the reason that I do this because it's a lot of fun for me, honestly, and it brings me joy. My wife even had fun when she did it the other day, and she looks forward to joining some more. She's just working past getting tired and shy and stuff from her job as well. But I do always worry about like not wanting to bore you guys or drive you crazy because when people come through and ask like repetitive questions and I want to be able to help them out, I don't want to drive y'all nuts. But thank you so much, like eternally, for you guys being here. But that blue azure oud is so good. So I'm glad you said that, because literally I was talking about this a little bit earlier, and it actually truly is like, this is a fascinating fragrance for me. Again, the original I enjoy. I like it with maracuja. I hope I'm saying that properly. This bad boy, though, it's so funny. This is what's crazy to me, is I'm always bashing those TikTok fragrance people for like pushing on people crap and like telling people not good stuff is the best. Go spend your money. I'm not joking you. This one in Coco Morado, I saw so many of those same TikTokers say they weren't good and like pass. And I'm like, what? So I didn't know what to expect when these came in, but I definitely want to do it because the price is good. When I got my nose on this, I thought, wow, I love this. This is going, honestly, as well, this is a good summer fragrance for what it's worth, because it's so bright and rich. So if you really, I don't normally recommend people buying stuff, but because to me personally, this is like $30. I think it was 25 or 30 US dollars. Definitely recommend getting yourself one if you want to try something unique, dense, something that's 100% going to stand out and as well last all day. So that is an advantage scent for sure, 100%. I'll buy a couple of that bottle. Never tried the original. The original's pretty decent, to be honest with you. That hype brown one, definitely. I'd wear it in the summer, but I don't mind getting kicked out of the office. This is definitely one of those ones that's a little tough to recommend somebody to wear to work, but I definitely think this is fantastic. So Azure Oud by French Avenue, a fantastic choice. What's your most complicated fragrance? Let me ask you this real quick before I answer that. When you say my most complicated fragrance, do you mean as far as complexity, like scent-wise and notes and stuff, or do you mean hard to appreciate? Just want to make sure I know we're on the same page, because if you're talking about, I can answer you with either one of those, but I'm going to have to think about it for just a second. But if you mean hard to appreciate, I know exactly which one the answer for that is. How many sprays for going out and getting compliments? So Dior Sauvage, Le Beau Le Parfum, for example. So with either one of those, Dior Sauvage or Le Beau Le Parfum, here's the big thing. I always want to kind of reiterate, compliments is a rarity. Not everybody's going to say something to you, but these are definitely fragrances that'll do it. Dior Sauvage especially will do the trick, and no matter which one you've got, whether you got the Eau de Toilette or the Parfum, either one, I would 100% tell you to probably do around 6 sprays. For me personally, I tend to do on each pulse point, back of the neck, each shoulder, and then as well, I like to do on my wrist just so I can smell it, or on my hands so I can give myself a little extra whiff throughout the time. But 100%, I would say probably around 6 sprays. If you really want to be noticed, depending on the fragrance, go up to 10. But I want to be honest with you guys, it's very rare that fragrances of any kind, unless it's like Dior Sauvage Elixir or Oud Silk Mood by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, actually blast off you that strong with minimal sprays. So if you really want to be noticed and put projection out there, especially depending on what activities you're going to do, probably 6 to 10 sprays depending on how you do it. Like when I say that, do your initial touch on and then do an extra layering. So, but I will say Le Beau Le Parfum is another one of those fragrances that won't require too much overall spray on. Have you smelled Molecule 1? I have not, actually. I was actually thinking about a fragrance with a changing scent profile. Okay, which one gave you the most compliments? Of all the ones that's given me compliments as a whole, I'm trying to think, because I was literally just thinking about that this morning. I believe, if I remember correctly, over time and repeated wear, the one that's given me the most compliments has definitely going to be Herba Pura. I know it's going to be a shocker because a lot of people probably won't think so. Herba Pura by Zerjoff has been extremely noticed, especially by women. Now, there's a reason for that. A lot of you knuckleheads out there have trashed Herba Pura, talking about how, oh, it smells too girly. I got a hot news flash for you guys. Yes, lots of women do like men's fragrances, but they also really love women's fragrances. That's why women love smelling their own fragrances and stuff like that. So if you got something that leans a little feminine and it's very, very mass appealing, you're probably going to get noticed by women a lot more than wearing something like Dylan Blue. I want to tell you a hot news flash. Forget Jeremy Fragrance. Love watching the guy. He's fun. But something like Dylan Blue does not get you as appealed as you think it will. But so with all that little rant said real fast, Herba Pura is one of the most complimented fragrances that I've worn because it gets really noticed. It's very bright, very loud, and women like it. As well, I've gotten compliments on pretty much every Jean Paul Gaultier. As well, I'm trying to remember. There it is. So 1 Million Elixir has also gotten me noticed a handful of times. Good advice. Hey, I appreciate that. Good evening, Mohammed. Thank you for dropping through here. I really appreciate you taking the time to stop in and say hey. I'm always happy to see you. And good advice. Thank you so much, Scent Scope, for being here in the first place. To tell you, though, about probably my most complex fragrance, that is a little bit difficult as far as something that has like rich amounts of layering to it, because I don't know about which one I would say that I already own would be the most complex, because there's a handful that really do that trick. But I will tell you, one of the most complex fragrances that I've ever personally put my nose to just happened the other day. And I've already mentioned it. If I had my other phone with me, I'd show you guys a photo of it right now. But of all the fragrances that I've smelled so far, and again, it's okay if you guys ever smell this and disagree, but Une Nuit Nomade has a fragrance that is the extrait de parfum version called, I think it's Jardin. I think that's how you say garden in French. Jardin de Misfage. I think that's how you say it, something along those lines. Jardin de Misfage by Une Nuit Nomade. Just type that in, put in Jardin. Or Jardin, however you say it. I don't mean to butcher you guys' language if you speak French, but I don't know how to say it good. But I'll get to you in just a second, Mohammed. Thank you for asking so much. That fragrance, though, Une Nuit Nomade's Jardin de Misfage, is probably one of the most beautifully composed, complex fragrances that I've ever smelled in my life, because something about the note profiles that it features, like it has Divana, so like a beautiful green shrub type of profile, very like spice shrub, not spice like cardamom or nothing, but like something about the way that they've layered that with rose. And the rest of the composition was so unique and distinct, and it changed every single time if you breathed in slowly. I'm not exaggerating. It was like a magical experience. I actually got goosebumps when I smelled it. And I'd love to get a bottle, but I did find out today, when instead of getting the Paradise Garden, I thought about getting a bottle of that. But when I looked at it, it was $320, I think, for either a 50 mil or 100 mil. And I was like, well, we're not doing that, because this was like 140. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do all that. Not today. But Mohammed, my grandma, is very much not doing so hot. So she is really deteriorating and just really in bad shape all across the board. But we're still hoping and praying that hopefully, the time comes soon that she's finally going to be at peace. And, so yeah, definitely been hard for the family as a whole. It's been a crazy week, to be honest with you. And again, anybody who's Jardin, thank you so much for Moon Man for letting me know that. But yeah, so to anybody who's new here, again, I don't just talk about fragrances. This is why, again, a lot of people come and go, is instead of just being like a fragrance salesman who's trying to push stuff on people, I just love fragrances and connecting with you guys. And I also talk about life. And so definitely a lot of people here have probably heard about my grandma. And so she's not doing so hot. She's definitely going to be passing away, but we just don't know when. So that's been the toughest thing for the family, is just kind of waiting. And my poor aunt, she's at my aunt's house. My aunt's been doing the best she can, but it's been really tough, because you got to get out and stuff when you're in those situations. But I appreciate you so much for saying that, and thank you, and bless you guys for coming through and taking the time to hang out and talk. I know that, again, not everybody's going to be available to hang out this time of night or what have you. Your mom passed away this year. I'm so sorry, Fragrance Profile. I really hate to hear that. But hey, I send nothing but love and blessings your way, and I'm sorry that you had to deal with this. And I appreciate you, Moonman. And Amanda, do you put any lotion on your neck before putting on a fragrance? Does that really matter? So I will say, I don't, but thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. And I really thank you guys for your blessings and for your love. It means the world to me. Again, that's why I'm doing this. I'm low energy right now, because I definitely have had a day, and thinking about my family and stuff, what they're going through, kind of wears me down. But when I come here and I spend time with you guys and talk about my biggest passion, it definitely lifts me up a lot. So I cannot tell you how much that you guys mean to me. But yeah, as far as all things are considered, as far as lotion goes, I don't even do it. I should. I have eczema. That's literally why I shave my head, is because I get super flaky and dry. I should be putting on lotion, especially as much as I love fragrance and stuff. It does help quite a bit. I want to remind you, somebody the other day thought that you put a fragrance on first and then lotion. No, see, the thing is, what you want to do, fragrances are designed with perfumer's alcohol. There's more of a technical term, but you don't need to know that right now. Fragrance alcohol is designed, or what it does with the composition of the actual parfum oils and so forth, and the synthetics, is it touches to the skin, body heats it up, and then the alcohol burns away. And guess what that does? It makes the fragrance come off of you. So that's what the alcohol is for in most cases with perfumery. is to help it burn off with the body heat, very much so, some faster, some slower. So that's why an eau de toilette, which is a higher concentration of alcohol, burns quicker. Something with a little bit more density in fragrance oils and perfume oils and naturals and synthetics is going to burn slower. Either way, that's where you get projection, that's where you get longevity, and how it's all made up. With that being said, when you put a base of lotion on, which again, I don't do nearly as much as I should, what do? You get a nice coating of your pores and your skin. So whether you're dry, whether you have a lot of oils, either way, that's going to bond the fragrance chemicals you spray on, because guess what they're not doing? When you spray them on top of a layer of lotion, they're no longer getting heated up right away and burning nearly as fast as they are, and they kind of bond to the actual makeup of the oils and whatever materials is in the lotions that you use. But I will say this, don't use scented lotion. Obviously, I would think that'd be obvious, but I have had a couple of buddies say that they try to use scented lotions when they do that, so it doesn't work that well. I have eczema, my beard flakes a lot. I wish I could grow a nice beard, to be honest with you. I'm 32. Wait a second, let me make sure. Oh, sorry, that's a dog barking outside. I thought my wife was like, hey. But all the men in my family, I'm 32, they didn't start really growing facial hair until they were in their mid to late 30s. When they did, my dad can shave in the morning and it seems like he's a Sasquatch 3 hours later. I'm just now starting to get an actual mustache, a soul patch, and sideburns. If you've ever seen Joe Dirt, that's my family. I don't live in a trailer now. Nothing against trailers, but that is definitely where I spent a large portion of my life, and I grow facial hair just like you would imagine a person would in that situation. So, with that being said, also, doing this, shaving my head, wasn't the smartest idea. It's the only time I've done this twice in my life, and I got called a skinhead the other day when I was out in public. Somebody driving by literally yelled that out at me. So, you can't win when you look a little weird and you're from the South, when you look kind of nasty. Do I need to macerate? Ooh, I would not do that, to be honest with you. I don't know. What's your name? Your mom? Your mom? That's funny. I don't know if you're asking me that because you already have it and you're getting bad performance. So I would just personally say, for me personally, I've never had to macerate those before. To Captain Blimp, that's a fun name. I like that. You said, do I have the regular Lamal? So I do not have the regular Lamal. If you're talking about the eau de toilette, the original, I had a 6.8 fluid ounce bottle of that one at one point, but I gave it away as a gift because a buddy of mine really liked it. I am, on the other hand, planning on getting a new bottle because they've reformulated, but it's still fantastic. I love that one. I absolutely, positively love that edition. My personal favorite, though, is Le Beau Le Parfum, Le Mal Le Parfum, Le Mal Elixir. Those are my personal favorites of the bunch. But most definitely, if you're interested in the original, you will not be disappointed in any way, shape, or form. That much I can promise you. Also, real quick side note, sorry if anybody's commenting. I'm really weird about keeping things organized. If anybody hasn't checked this out or heard much about this yet, I also recommend getting Cosmic Pepper. Cosmic Pepper by Mancera is a fantastic fragrance choice. Skinhead, that's crazy in 2025. You would think so. Jason, I totally hear that. Yeah, you got to oil up, buddy. You got to keep them heads nice and greasy. Otherwise, I will say, if anybody else has skin problems like me or Jason here, Rose Absolute, if you can get yourself some Rose Absolute, it seems to work better for my eczema than lotion does for the most part. But yeah, Muhammad, unfortunately, somebody hollered and called me a skinhead. It just is what it is. Ever try blending? Perfumer's Apprentice is a good place for materials. So I myself have not tried. If you're talking about making my own fragrances, I work at a place. My full-time job is actually for a candle maker supply company. So we make our own fragrances. I don't, but our company makes its own fragrances for making candles. We have like over a couple of hundred different fragrances for making candles. People blend them. People use them as they are. We have also all like the essential oils, raw materials, all the different stuff people would usually use in perfumery, but they use them for making candles instead. I have access to all that stuff. I've actually got a lot of that stuff here at home, and me and my wife used to make and sell candles. But as far as the materials making perfumery, I just haven't even tried, because something going on skin is a lot more, you've got to know what you're doing for the most part if you want to be safe and understand allergens. And that's why a lot of people who do, not that you can't dabble and play and learn on your own. That's why a lot of times people go to school and become chemists, and then specifically study cosmetics and perfumery, which I'd love to do, but I'm not good at math. Cosmic Pepper, Spice, Chanel Sport, great scent. Absolutely. People be quick to judge. Picked up Armaf Lionheart. Ooh, I have not tried Armaf Lionheart, Muhammad. Is it good? I'd really like to know. But I also just want to say one more time to anybody who's dropping through here, if you've got any fragrance questions, I see there's some other people keep coming and going. please have no hesitation to ask. Anybody's welcome here. I'm not better than anybody else in this world. I might have had more exposure than you, maybe not to fragrances. Either way, just never be shy to ask me questions, and all are welcome here. With that being said, I just want to remind you guys one more time how much I appreciate you guys who have come through, who are asking questions and hanging out. It really does mean a lot more to me than you know, and I appreciate you guys so much. What is to left of that azure oud, blue oud? Which way are you talking about? Are you talking about this way, right here, where these guys are? I'll just hold my fingers here and you let me know if I'm in the right direction or if you want me to go over this way. So right here, is this what you mean? My buddy fragrance profile? No, the other way. Okay, so right here, you're talking about this one. I will explain that in just a second. By the way, just talking about Tom Fords again one more time. If you haven't yet, if you like Tom Fords and you like something a little more rich, dark, and murky, definitely recommend getting your nose on black lacquer. Hold on real quick, and then I'm going to try to find out specifically what you are referring to. But yeah, Cosmic Pepper is absolutely fantastic. So let me see. Love Cosmic Pepper, one of my favorites. No, green one, left of green. I'm assuming you're talking about this one right here. I'm also trying to remember what kind of angle you guys are looking at. Oh, yes, black lacquer. Yeah, black lacquer. Oh, okay, this one right here. So if you're talking about this one in particular, if you mean the ones behind it, I can definitely get into that for you. But just real quick to reiterate, I cannot support these guys. If this wasn't what you were talking about, I'll totally figure it out. But I cannot support these guys enough because this is fantastic. This is a take. So they originally hit me up on Instagram. The guys over there at Sensual Obsessions. That's the name. Sensual Obsessions, like scent, like you smell. So they hit me up about an Altair dupe, basically a liquid broom, Hot Lodge Vanilla Dunes. And I was like, okay, so not to be rude in any way, shape, or form, but when people talk to you about fragrances and stuff, you're kind of like, yeah, that's what you're asking about. Absolutely. So when people hit you up about stuff, again, I've never actually talked to anybody too much except for the other day who make perfumes themselves. So I've said this a lot, but it's the only way I can really equate it. If you've got friends like me who are in bands or in the music world, sometimes you can be like, okay, I'm kind of nervous to check out their stuff because maybe it's not that good. Maybe it needs some more work. And I'm going to always be honest, which we should be, so it helps people grow. We live in a world where people get way too offended too easily. You don't help people grow and develop unless you help critique. So I get nervous, but when they sent me this and I opened it up in the mail, as soon as I pop the cap off, this is powerful. This is radiant. It's called Eagle Star. And if you want to know the truth, again, I can't stress enough, like everybody's on that Altair DNA right now. These guys make way more than this, and they have so many like originals. But if you actually want, and I'm being honest, I'm not just saying this because they sent me this. These guys are really cool, but this is perfect. It's an extractive parfum, but this literally is like the best version of that DNA that I've come across so far. So if you get the chance, please give it a shot because liquid broom is very sweet. I've said this earlier, kind of like making coffee. Hot Lodge's Vanilla Dunes is more like a cappuccino, whereas liquid broom is like a frappuccino, where one of them is less sweet and more just general to the core of the flavor, whereas the other one has a lot more density and sugar to it. This one's right there in the perfect balance of the middle, but it is just super, super powerful. Genuinely lasts all day, and it smells fantastic. So yeah, it's a PDM Altair clone. And what kind of music do you play? I'll get back to that in just a second, Jason. But I went through the big Dua phase for a while. Figured similar clone house to them. I've never actually used Dua myself. But like I said, these dudes definitely are awesome. They're from Florida here in the U.S. But what really gets me, and I don't want to keep burning through this, but it's kind of fun to show off. Because I just like Dior, I love a good atomizer. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I keep loving to show it. Check this out. That is a really good spray they got. Sorry for the little sound effects, but like this is powerful. So if you're into that kind of liquid broom, Hot Lodge Vanilla Dunes type of feel, but you want something that's even got more like a denser level of overall like scent, definitely give these guys a shot. But with that being said, oh crap, there was something else that I was going to say. Yeah, that is a neat atomizer. It really is. It's fantastic. What kind of music do I play? So I don't play any music anymore, personally. I usually am a singer. I know that's probably like not what you expected. Not a screamer, an actual singer. I've been that way ever since I was a child. My dad is the one who showed me guitar, taught me singing from a young age. He started off with a lot of gospel and classic rock. Me, myself, because he's been in bands since the 70s. But me, myself, mostly guitar, but not extremely good. I'm more of a songwriter. And as well, if you look up me and my wife's other channel, Moon Huggy, it's all one word, Moon, MOONHUGGY. If you look up Moon Huggy Adventures, it's where we just did like fun stuff like ghost hunts and things like that. And then you go to videos and then go way to the bottom. You'll see me doing music, playing songs and doing covers or some songs that I wrote myself. So if you ever want to go check that out, please feel free to do so. But what's up, Micah Fragrance? Thank you for stopping through. Better than Dua, in my opinion. That I will agree with, although I personally haven't. But yeah, I don't have a band page. I'm not in a band myself. I just, it would be cool to be in one, but it's really difficult to find drummers. I say this all the time. Really difficult to find people, at least where I live, to be a drummer, because everybody wants to be the Shreddy Krueger. They want to be the biggest dude on the guitar, or everybody wants to be a screamer. Also, I personally don't want to be in a deathcore band, and I know I look like I do. People keep telling me that I either like a SoundCloud rapper or a deathcore artist, and I don't want to do either one of those things. I know this is going to sound strange to you guys, but if I was going to be in a band myself, I'd like to be in something kind of like that new wave 80s style, like do stuff a lot like the Smiths. Something along those lines would be really fun, or something kind of like the new Deftones style, something that's just more chill, maybe grungy, so like a little bit more 90s style grunge Deftones feel. That'd be something I'd love to do. I just don't care about all the other stuff. Douglas buying Ombre Nomad tomorrow. Are you really? Yes. I hope you enjoy that. Again, Louis Vuitton's not really my style, but see here, I'm going to say this again. I don't have a problem with deathcore. Yes, like Soundgarden. I love Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. Again, I'm 32, but like that's stuff I grew up with from my brother, my dad, and everybody. And like I love that feel. There's newer bands like Teenage Wrists. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they are super awesome. I love that kind of stuff. But I also do like deathcore music and metalcore stuff like that. I love bands like Era, as well as there's quite too many to name at this point. But just joining a band like that is just not something I'd like to get into at this point. I like more fun stuff. Just stuff that's a little bit more classic to play. If you guys want to check out a cool band, though, look up Ocean Grove. They're from Australia. They're one of the best bands out there. Thornhill as well are doing something really awesome in that kind of style. But I definitely hope you like that, buddy. Definitely awesome. Micah, thank you for being here. Really, really cool to see you. Same with Zoologist. Started off super niche, then went mainstream. There's an incredible amount of fragrances that do that, though, fragrance companies. It's kind of like, here's a weird one for me. When people talk about Tom Fords, or when people talk about Parfums de Marly's, I actually get kind of hit or miss if I even personally think that these are like niche companies, because for what it's worth, they're sold in like department stores, and they have a good chunk of like, how would you even think of them as being niche if you really think about this? Because if they're sold amongst other designer fragrances, they are not. Parfums de Marly's not. Tom Ford is definitely a designer, like fashion company in-house. So Parfums de Marly is a fragrance company. But it's funny to me when I think about them being sold in the way that they are and the way that they appeal to people. Sometimes I just don't think of them particularly as niche houses the way I do like Zerjoff or Amouage, something like that. But PDM fell off for me. By the way, Micah, I hope you have a good one. Dropped a sub. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for stopping through. It means a lot to me. But I will definitely say myself that PDM, I really fell in love with PDM. Like, here's how my journey went. I was all designer. I had, before me and my wife moved and I got the money to start building this collection after we sold our house, I personally only had a handful of designers. I had Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. I had Dolce & Gabbana K, the one. I had a Jean Paul Gaultier, like La Mel Parfum, La Mel Elixir. And I had Eros Parfum, stuff like that. I had the bare bones of like the classic designer fragrances. And then we moved. And right before we moved, I got Altair when it first came out. When Parfums de Marly first came out with Altair, I fell in love with it. A lot of people don't talk about Calan by Parfums de Marly, the red bottle, but I really liked that one as well. Didn't get it because my wife said that it smelled like dead ladybugs, but she was like, if we imagine what dead ladybugs would smell like, it would be that. So, but I enjoyed it. But I got Altair, and then I was like, okay, what do I want to do next? So at the time, I really loved Greenlee, which I don't really like it anymore, but at the time I really went crazy about it. So that's kind of how the journey started. Is as soon as we officially moved into the new house and I had the money to start building up this collection, pretty much I was like, okay, I'm gonna start off with PDMs. So I really collected all the Parfums de Marly's I can get my hands on, and I got them all. Even down at the bottom, I got the big one of Pegasus, and a good chunk of the other ones. I got Leighton, like an exclusive, Oh John, all that crap. There's a handful that I've given away as a gift at this point because they're just like, I really don't want them taking up space. And I've already reviewed them and posted it. But with that being said, Parfums de Marly is something that I really appreciate what they do. They make nice fragrances, and you also get a fair amount for the price that you pay in comparison to a lot of other fragrance houses of the type. But they just aren't for me. The performance is not nearly as good as I would like it to be for how much you pay. And as well, I think that the fragrances ultimately, I grew out of them, just to be honest with you guys. So I think they're fantastic, but I kind of grew out of them. No one talks about the red one. They really don't. Sepultura is really cool. That's my gym playlist right there. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Sepultura is a good band choice. No one talks about the red one. No, they don't, for the most part. Agile non-Western releases are awesome niche. I'm going to have to check those out. Yeah, that's the thing with Haldane. It smells amazing. Just wish it lasted longer. Yeah, I do too. I will say, even like this bad boy, Oud for Greatness. I know a lot of people... Jeremy Fragrance talks about this one a lot. Obviously, he says it's the best oud fragrance. First of all, no, it isn't. This is not. Jeremy likes to do mass appealing, so I will say he's right in the sense that if you're going to go for like a mass appealing oud fragrance, but then again, you could also suggest Tom Ford's Oud Wood if you want to be down that road. But this is definitely one of those mini fragrances as well that I'm just like, meh, for the most part, kind of hit or miss. But like Haldane is like a cousin of this. A lot of you guys might know, maybe not, but they're owned by the same like overall parent company. So Initio and Parfums de Marly owned by the same people, basically. So they're sister houses. And this, I think that Initio, even though they make a little mildly more basic fragrances to me, I think they perform better overall. Definitely, I'll tell you this, Initio's Side Effect, oh my God. You want a summery type fragrance that'll never come off of you? Paragon. This bad boy is an absolute monster. I bought that for the culty packaging. I understand. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are into like studying spiritual history or anything along those lines, but or like spirituality history, people different practices throughout time. If you know anything about Hermeticism, but that's kind of what that reminds me of a lot. Looking at the packaging for Oud for Greatness, Calan is a great scent that doesn't get the love that it deserves. See, I agree with that. I have a 10 mil of Paragon, such a beautiful plum set. It really is. This is a fantastic fragrance. My wife actually doesn't like this one too much. She thinks it smells good, but she doesn't want to wear it, like smell it on somebody because she thinks it, again, this is just her personal opinion, but she thinks this one smells cheap, but it is what it is. Sure, I dig it. Yeah, it's definitely not the best thing in the entire universe, but it's super duper powerful. So I really like that Initio's fragrances have good strength behind them. Again, Parfums de Marly's just kind of fall flat to some extent. Like they have really good openings and they last dense enough, long enough to make you think they're going to go all day. But it's something about after a certain point, it just completely disappears. That's what the crazy thing about PDMs are. Is it's like strong, 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 strong. A lot of fragrances, super strong, and then dissipates and then becomes a powerful skin scent. PDMs, for some reason, on me personally, and then my buddy Sam, he doesn't have eggs like me. For some reason on him, it's just strong for hours and then poof, gone. That's why when Liquid Broom came out, and now the Eagle Star by Sensual Obsessions and all that, and when those came out, I was like, wow, thank you, because I really love Altair, but I want it to last way longer. So by the way, if anybody's ever curious about buying Parfums de Marly's Perseus, absolutely do not do that. Please don't. If you want something that's going to last a lot longer and be much more in that true to the core, like citrus vibe, get yourself Renaissance by Zerjoff. Paragon can come off slightly medicinal. Yes, I agree with you. Paragon can definitely come off in like a very medicinal type of profile, depending on who you are. And as well, it does have a mild, like super sweet vitamin feel to it. Oud for Greatness is the only issue I have, but I have a couple clones of other ones by Lattafa. So I do know the Lattafa series is actually pretty decent for those, at least so I've heard. I don't have them myself, but so I've heard. But yeah, like I said, anybody who dropping through here, just in case any new people pop through, please. This is my collection. I'm Douglas Moon. This is my fragrances. You feel free to ask me anything you would like to if you've got any fragrance questions. Right now, I had the urge that I really wanted to reappreciate 40 Knots. It's summertime and it is time to bust this bad boy out. This is one of my favorite fragrances in the entire universe. And if you have never put your nose on 40 Knots, I highly recommend you do it as soon as you possibly can. If you live near a place where you can go test it out, don't just spend the money unless you're ready for it. Fragrance profile, what's better, the clone or the original? Which one are we talking about? I just want to answer you, making sure we're talking about the same thing here, but this one is just so good. Oh, okay. You're asking fragrance profile of the person. Sorry. I thought you were talking about the fragrance profile of a fragrance that I have here. But anyway, yeah, like I said, Anybody who's dropping through, anybody who's new here, please have no hesitation to ask questions. You are more than welcome to do so. Oud for Greatness, all different. I don't have a clone for Oud for Greatness. Yeah, so that's the thing. I will tell you this. I don't know how this works on you guys, but I've got Oud for Greatness Neo. So I ordered this completely by accident, and I literally mean that because they look, if you get on the website, right, and you're not paying attention, look how basically almost identical these bad boys are. So when I originally wanted to get myself a bottle of Oud for Greatness the first time, I was looking on their website and I was kind of moving a little quick. And I know this is going to sound stupid. When I saw Oud for Greatness Neo, I didn't know what that was. And I hadn't seen anybody at that time. Like I didn't come across any videos for it. So I was under the impression, oh, maybe that's just something this website's got underneath it as like a specification. So I ordered it and then it showed up. And because prior to that, I had an Oud for Greatness sample, like a travel spray. So when it arrived, I was like, yay, I got my bottle of Oud for Greatness. And then I popped the top off and I was like, huh, that smells a little bit different. Sprayed it on, and I was like, that smells an awful lot different. Like something's a little strange here. And I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you that this one, the composition of the woods, the fur, the resinous fur mixed with the oud profile, it pretty quickly on my skin turned into a body odor profile. So just a fair warning. This one right here is not bad. I've even seen a couple of people, for whatever reason, just their personal taste, say they like this better than the original Oud for Greatness. But this baby right here, it sticks to you pretty dang good, but it definitely made me smell stinky. Me and my wife went to a country concert after I laid this on me like a freight train, and I was like, yes, I got Oud for Greatness. I can't wait. We were in a hurry. We had to drive 2 hours to go to the concert we were going to, and I was like, here we go. Put it all over me, and guess what? I smelled like I farted all night long. Like, it doesn't smell like farts, but I literally smell like a sweaty fart machine because it just did not take good to my skin. Whereas this one actually does smell pretty good on my skin, the original Oud for Greatness. So definitely be careful. Our Onusio, all animalic on their ouds. Being Middle Eastern, I've had enough animalic ouds. Not necessarily speaking, mildly, but not quite. I would say there's like a vague feel to it. Initio, Narcotics Delight, and Absolute Aphrodisiac are great also. That and Blessed Baraka are also fantastic choices, but I'll definitely say they are mildly on the animalic side, but not nearly as bad as like Hayat by Zerjoff. But I will say somewhere along those lines can go with the Silver Oud from Amouage, so not a bad choice. Bro, should I buy Le Beau or Paradise Garden? So I will tell you, to my buddy, I want to say your name properly if it's Ilby. If it's not, no disrespect, please. Absolutely no disrespect. I always want to be kind to you guys and pronounce your names as best as possible. With that being said, so if you want to know the difference between these two, I would say it depends on what you want them for. If you want something that's going to be a lot more year-round, definitely Le Beau Le Parfum. It's more sweet and dense overall. It's got a little bit more kick to it. This one, sorry if the jingling gets on you guys' nerves, by the way. This one is a little bit more bright, rich, dense coconut sweetness with woods underneath it, whereas this one is coconut water with sandalwood and lift and aquatic notes. This one's like true to the core of summertime and perfect for the summer, a little bit green, a little fresh and watery. This one, again, because of the richness and creaminess underneath the coconut, you could wear this all year long, fall, winter as well, even though you wouldn't normally think that of a tropical scent. So I kind of would steer you, if you want something year-round, Le Beau Le Parfum. If you want like a true to the core summer fragrance, then this one, Paradise Garden, is going to be your choice. JPG Elixir or Paradise Garden? For me personally, Elixir all day long. Reason is, again, Paradise Garden, great for the summertime. The sandalwood is perfect, but Elixir is tied as one of my favorite fragrances of all time. So thank you guys, by the way, for dropping through, asking questions. Even if you guys are not regulars or if you never plan on coming back to the channel, that's okay. I appreciate anybody ever stopping by and asking. You're welcome to ask anything you want. Diego, that Atomic Rose sounds good. I definitely want to get a bottle of that myself, by the way. Like the stream chat. Oh, are you telling people to like the stream chat? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, if you are, thank you. Do you still prefer Haltane to Oud for Greatness? I prefer Oud for Greatness. So here's the deal. Technically speaking, scent profile wise, I do kind of like Haltane a little bit more. The reason I say that, hold on, I know this looks stupid to you guys. The reason I say that is because there's a little bit more of like a mild sweetness that I get out of Haltane in comparison to Oud for Greatness. But I will say again, the performance, technically speaking, is actually, at one point in time, I kind of was misguided and like trying and testing them out. Thought the performance for Haltane was better, but in reality, actually, Oud for Greatness is better. But I will say something right now. I'm going to do something during this stream that if you go back and watch my videos, you're going to think, wow, what a hypocrite. But I want you guys to know, tastes change as people are exposed to stuff. They will change their mind, they will develop, and that's totally okay. I'm going to, like, half the videos that I've done reviews for in the past already, I plan to redo them in the next year or two and go back and tell you my updated thoughts. For instance, Zerjoff's Alexandria 2. This is one of my top 20, top 15 fragrances of all time. When I posted my review of this fragrance, on the other hand, like 3 months ago, I was literally saying that this was made very well, but I hated it. Like literally doing that review because I had just gotten very little exposure to it and I wasn't used to these type of note profiles. And in that video, you will quote me on saying I did not like that fragrance. Now it's one of my favorites in the universe. So with that being said, I am going to endorse Oud for Greatness much more than Haltane. Now, I do have a review that I filmed of this like 2 months ago that I'm going to post soon while I'm dogging on this. I want you to know I'm still going to post it because, again, I want to have memories of where I was at one point and then come back later and be able to talk about how my mind has changed. So, to be completely honest with you guys, I have come to really enjoy Oud for Greatness. I just don't wear it a lot. Haltane, in the video where I did the comparison, I said this one was better, but overall, this has a little bit more sweetness to it. This one does perform better, and I do like it more for what it's worth overall. Like my wife also prefers Oud for Greatness as a whole. So let me make sure I'm keeping up with you guys. Taste will do that. $180 for sure. Oh yeah, Taste will do it $180. It absolutely will. Love me some rose, but it depends. Are we talking Montel Intense Cafe-ish rose? Love pepper and vanilla. I subbed to the channel, so I'll be back. Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Jason. That means the world to me. Sorry I haven't been keeping up with you guys, by the way. I'm trying. JPG Elixir so good. Yes, it is, Muhammad. Have I tried Elixir Absolute? I got that bottle right here, guys. Elixir Absolute. Fantastic choice. Definitely a wonderful Jean Paul Gaultier, but it's not my favorite. I prefer the original because the Plum Edition, actually, a lot of people think it's more mature. I think it's more youthful, to be honest with you. But I love me some rose fragrances. If you guys can ever suggest me rose fragrances, please go ahead and do so because I have a handful and I love them. They're some of my favorites in the world. Actually, let me show you one of my absolute favorite rose fragrances in the world right now, but hold on just a second. Also, some oxidation of juice can change it a bit. That's absolutely true. Montel Oud Pashmina, top 3 rose fragrances for me personally. It's like the rose in Delina. My taste must be stubborn like I am. Nothing wrong with that. Here's a funny thought. I've never smelled ever any Montel fragrances. I know you guys are thinking, how dare you even call yourself a fragrance YouTuber? But truth is, I just have not actually come across one yet. Well, that's not true. The shop I was in during that fragrance event the other day had like all of them, but I was too busy smelling all of the Maison Crivellis and the Mind Games and stuff. I will say this. If you get the chance to find a store that has these, so I found out that I really love Mind Game fragrances when I went to that thing the other day. They have for $75 a discovery set that has 10 Mind Game fragrance travel sample thingies in them. That's perfect. $75. I'm really thinking about getting that bad boy when I get the opportunity to do so because that's 10 whole videos of reviews right there using the little samples from the discovery set for $75. I don't know if you know this, but niche perfumery, very expensive, and people like looking at those, so they do good for the algorithm for the most part. I'm going to jump on that when I get the chance. But let me see. Zerjoff Black Rose. I definitely want to check that out. I love Rose Incense by Amouage. It's the best rose fragrance in my opinion. Zerjoff Black Rose. I'll have to try that. I'll be buying tomorrow. What you getting tomorrow? What did Diego say? Delina Muhammad. Okay, let me see here. Thoughts on Zerjoff More Than Words. That would be right here, you guys. I got Zerjoff More Than Words. And I have to say, this is a masterpiece. I don't talk about this a lot because I haven't had too many people ask me about it. This is a beautiful fragrance though. I need to start wearing this more. I don't know if you know this, but it has a mild chocolate fragrance blended in underneath there as well. Interesting choice. But then again, Zerjoff never seems to disappoint. Or excuse me. Yeah, they never disappoint. Sorry, I didn't want to say that wrong. Packaging. How about you get Arabian Tonka? I definitely might check that out, Manny. Thank you for commenting and letting me know. Like I said, I haven't got my nose on any of those yet. I definitely should do that. Once I have 2 sprays would be enough. Matching that, what's a cannabis smelling fragrance? Nuke? I actually don't know. Personally speaking, I've never come across any cannabis fragrances myself. I know they exist, but I'm not a smoker myself, so nothing against them. I'm sure there are some that smell really good. A long time ago, back when I was smoking, buddies were hanging out, and this guy was like, "Hey, what if we made one called Cannabis for Men?" And I was like, "Ha ha!" Little did I know things like that were going to come out one day. But again, I don't personally smoke, so hopefully you can find one. Wouldn't it be cheaper? Probably so. In that case, it just depends. None of the fragrances smell remotely like cannabis. Oh, well, in that case, yeah, definitely probably nothing that you could really recommend. But 100% More Than Words by Zerjoff is an incredible fragrance. And I know I keep doing this, but I'm definitely going to have to put a little bit on here because I don't even think about this one very often. I don't know what it is. When you have too many fragrances, this is why I cannot say this enough. I have all these because I do reviews. Please, for the love of God, try to take it easy on how many fragrances you buy because you can only really have but so many. So, hey, absolutely no problem. Thank you for coming through. Bad Boy Le Parfum. Huh. Well, how about that? I had to check that out at some point, see how that goes. Black Afghano is nothing close. Bro, you can call me Kai. I just wonder if Paradise Garden any good over LeBeau. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all. Just want to say this again. Anybody who stops through, I cannot tell you how much I thank you guys. It has meant the world to me that you even come and ask questions. Again, I'm absolutely nobody important or special myself. I just love fragrances. So when you guys come through and we talk, like, it brightens my day completely. And open it smells. How about that? That's crazy. But Kai, thank you for asking. 100% for me, I'm going to start steering people probably towards Le Beau Le Parfum just because, again, very dense, sweet, woodsy coconut. This one is sandalwood with coconut water over the top and aquatic notes. This one's perfect for summertime. This one you can wear all year long, but this one's very powerful. They both are very powerful, but Le Beau Le Parfum is going to get you a little bit more usage. Best imagination clone. To be honest with you, I don't actually know. As always, I don't really want to give you guys any opinions if I haven't tried any. Reyes, thank you for being here. 14-year-old or normal elixir? I would say normal elixir 100%. No, sorry, I had to read that and really understand what I was reading. Normal elixir all the way. Absolute is nice, but it is very much got that plum note added to it. And it's just a similar DNA. Personally, I prefer the original elixir, so definitely going to steer you in that direction. Now, thank you for being here, buddy. So I am about to finish this stream because my battery's about to die. So I got to hop off here. But I'm going to let you guys, what's your take on Valentino Coral Fantasy? David, thank you for asking. Coral Fantasy for an eau de toilette has actually pretty good performance, and it's also a really good price range. I think in the US you can get it for like $115 to $130, depending on where you go. Coral Fantasy is an incredible, unique fragrance. It's my favorite Valentino next to the original Uomo Intense. Not Born in Roma, but the original Uomo Intense, which is a leather fragrance. I love Coral Fantasy, though. It's very unique apple tobacco fragrance. And honestly, it's definitely a good way to go. With that being said, if you guys want a good, cheap rose fragrance, this is, I don't remember how to say this right, Al Watanya, but it's Rose Mystery Intense by Al Watanya. So this is like one of the greatest incensey kind of mildly saffron rose fragrances I've ever smelled. And so 100%, if you're looking for like a saffron type of rose fragrance, definitely suggest you get this bad boy. Al Watanya's Rose Intense. I really love that one, and it drives me cocoa bananas. But anyway, thank you guys for stopping through. I really, really appreciate it so much. Just letting you guys know, and you're always more than welcome to come through anytime. More than welcome to share your thoughts, opinions, and what have you. Like I said, my battery's about to die, so I do got to jump off here. But I just want to let you know, this is the part where I usually lose a lot of people, and that's totally okay. I myself, I don't talk about it in every stream, and I definitely am not pushy about it. But I personally, for my own personal reasons, not here to argue with anyone, believe in God. And I always end my streams with prayer. Again, no matter who you are or where you're from, what you believe in, I do respect you. I am a Christian, but I've read the Quran multiple times, the Gita, the Dhammapada, the Upanishads, and so forth, the Prayatas. And so personally, I have respect for all beliefs. And even though I am a Christian, I welcome everybody, and I have nothing here to like try to impose you to join my side or anything like that. I welcome everybody to my closing prayer, and I'm not pushing anybody out, no judgment on anybody. So just letting it be known, that's who I am. I welcome anybody here. If you want to leave while I pray, that's fine. Normally, I'd say ask another question or two while I pray, but because my battery is getting low, I don't think I'd really be able to have a chance to answer you. So maybe one or two more, but again, if you want to dip out, that's fine. If you want to hang around, that's cool too. If you want to make fun of me, I'd rather you didn't, but I can't stop you. So with that being said, about to jump in real quick. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for all my buddies who stopped through with this chat today. Thank you for letting us come and have this wonderful time like we did this morning. Had a beautiful, beautiful live stream this morning. But I've also had a fantastic time hanging out with buddies here, just talking about fragrances, talking about life, and answering questions. It's meant the world to me. Thank you for the wonderful art of perfumery as a whole, and just art in general, music, everything creative that we humans are blessed with to get to express ourselves. It's just such a magical thing to get to live this beautiful life that you made. Everybody all over the world from every culture, no matter their background, who they are, I believe and know that you made them and that they have so much purpose and so much value. If they're hurting right now, if they're going through anything, I lift that up to you and pray for them to have peace, to find sustainable, like actual long-lasting joy through whatever struggles and trials that they have, and that they come to know you and experience you and just recognize there's meaning in their life, that you put them here for purposes. So thank you, God, for everything you've done. And in the name of Jesus, I lift everybody up and pray. Just thank you for your grace and your mercy and your love and opportunities. Amen. So again, thank you guys for being here so much. It means the world to me. I appreciate it. And thank you all, no matter who you are, where you're from. You're always welcome here. If you're Muslim, if you're Hindu, Buddhist, whatever. Again, I'm not against you in any way, shape, or form. And I love you guys. I appreciate it. So thank you. I'll take the blessing. Absolutely. And if you're an atheist, whatever, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. Secular, humanist, all that stuff. You're welcome here. And I appreciate you guys so much. So again, not here to push that stuff on you guys, just to share it with y'all. Good night from London. Thank you, Muhammad. It means the world to me. So hope you enjoyed the stream. I posted a new video today. So I only do one actual review once a week. I posted today's Amouage Interlude Man versus Interlude 53. Just kind of talks about if it's worth it to have both, if it's kind of redundant to have one or the other. So if you guys are willing to do so, thank you so much. Thank you, Fragrance, for subscribing. That means the world to me. But definitely, if you guys are interested in giving me some support, please go check out that actual video, watch it, comment on it, just drop a like. It's like 10 minutes long. Watch it as long as you can, because that's what really helps the videos do well in the algorithm. Share it around if you're willing to do so. Any kind of support is helpful, because YouTube definitely likes to crush a fella on the algorithm and not really help. So if you guys are willing to go check it out, go check out my other stuff. I really appreciate that. It means the world. If not, if you just want to join me for the live streams, normally I only do them on my days off, on Wednesdays and Sundays. Like, I'm off Saturday too, but that's family day. So normally just Wednesdays and Sundays, but right now I've had some extra time off because of the family stuff. So I just kind of do these when I get a chance. So probably going to be back on tomorrow. If not, I'll definitely be on Wednesday. So I send nothing but love to you guys, and it means the world to me to have y'all here. I emptied an Interlude Original bottle. Yeah, Interlude Original is a fantastic fragrance choice. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time, and I appreciate y'all, and thank you for being here. So peace out, and God bless y'all.